Happy Halloween from Bloodbath & Beyond. Today we review the houses October built. In the search for the most extreme haunt, the haunt found them.
Directed by Bobby Roe and starring Brandy Schaefer, Zack Andrews, Jeff Larson, Mikey Roe, and Bobby Roe. This film's about 5 friends who are going out to document the most extreme haunted house that America has to offer. They're on the trail for what they believe is called the Blue Skeleton. Going from location to location, they're finding clues as to where this secret haunted house is. As they get closer to their goal, they start to experience more killer attractions. So what do we like?
As somebody who's not a fan of found footage movies nor haunts, I thought that it worked well for this story. You have some people that just want to go out there and find the scariest shit they can. And I think found footage was a great vehicle to deliver that story in, because you're going through all of these haunted houses and you're experiencing everything that they are experiencing. And it's frightening.
And when you're having stuff that you see on a regular basis in the month of October, and people are getting stalked and you don't know who's actually a killer, it brings a sense of fear because this could potentially happen in real life. And that's what's scary about it.
And there's no reason that it couldn't, because I mean, you're going to these attractions and people are just dressed up. They could get you in the parking lot, throw you in a car. You might think it's part of it. Well, you might not think that's part of a gag, but if you're looking for the most extreme thing and somebody like kidnaps you, at first you're probably gonna think, oh wait, this is just a game. And that's not really the case here.
And what makes this all really creepy is the fact that everyone who works at these haunted attractions are actually scary. The doll one is probably the most frightening out of all of them. And like, we've seen a lot of killer doll movies, whether it's like a doll killing someone or a doll-faced killer. This is the scariest doll-faced killer I have ever seen.
I think it's up there with The Hills Run Red. I think it's like a tie for them, but she's definitely freaky. What helps with the realism of this film is the fact that all of the actors did a great job. I was very impressed because there weren't that many times where I thought something was unbelievable. Like, all of the dialogue seemed really natural. I mean, you have people getting stoned that you could swear they were stoned. It just seemed like they were a group of friends that were actually traveling and would have these same experiences. And there weren't too many like weird decisions.
Yeah, and the film did a great job building tension. There's a lot of times as they're going from attraction to attraction that you're sitting here wondering if it's actually real and if they're gonna get attacked by any of these people working there.
And there's a lot of jump scares. Not like an overwhelming amount, but there are probably 2 or 3 like really solid ones that will catch you off guard and will freak you out, whether that's actual bad guys or people in the haunts. It's a little mixed bag. And props to Haunted Titty Bars. That place was sick. I want to go to the ship wheel one day. Looked amazing.
There was a good amount of topless women, and I wasn't expecting it, and there was not one boob I did not like. Now let's move on to our dislikes. I do appreciate the realistic documentary style of this film because it adds a different type of tension and fear than what you're used to. What I didn't like about it was its editing style. I felt that the editing in this film, there was a lot of the glitch cuts, and I get why they were going with it being a found footage, but the glitch cuts just kind of takes me away from the film.
There's rarely the case where there's any kind of glitching. If anything, there's like a missing frame that's green. There wouldn't be glitch effects like that. And I think because they just look so stock that it just kind of takes you out of it, but it's only for like those brief seconds. Like everything in between those like transitions, like it's pretty real. And then you have like something cheesy. I think the visual effects could have been tidied up a bit.
This is more of a pet peeve of mine when it comes to horror films. I always dislike when they start the movie off with the final act because the whole time you're waiting for it to happen. And I don't like that, especially when you have a thriller or something where this whole film is about building up suspense and you know they're gonna get kidnapped.
I completely agree because like the moment that you know how like the last arc's gonna be, you're just waiting around. In the back of your mind, you're sitting there, okay, when's it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen here? Is it gonna happen here? And it's not a cool feeling. I don't like knowing anything about a movie. That's why we kind of stopped doing trailer reactions, because we don't want to watch the trailers, because we don't want to know anything. And then in here, you can't avoid it. First 10 seconds, you know exactly how the film kind of ends. And speaking of the ending, I don't think the ending was like that great. I think it was good and it was creepy enough, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but it definitely seemed like it was leaving itself open for a sequel, which we do have now, like 4 years later, but I don't think that was the intent at the time. So I would have been kind of upset if they just left it here. However, now that the sequel does exist, I'm not waiting until next Halloween to watch it. I'll tell you that much.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Not knowing much about this film, I went into it with a lot of high hopes because I heard it was going to be a real-life documentary, found footage style of movie. And I enjoy those kind of films. And especially when you're trying to get across something that is realistic, is downright creepy. The problem I have with this film is the fact that they give the final act away in the first couple minutes. But there's moments where I'm on the edge of my seat. This film is scary in the sense that it can be real. And that's its strongest point, is that this could happen. I really enjoyed all of our characters. They were believable, the situations were believable, and when you're doing a documentary style of film, that's what you want, is that realism. Though I can do without some of the editing decisions in this film, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna give this film 3.5 Hooter shooters out of 5.
The Houses October Built was an excellent found footage film. Going the documentary route was a great choice because I felt like I was with the characters experiencing everything that they're experiencing. All of the haunts were really creepy and there are definitely some great jump scares. The tension was excellent, but like John, I didn't like the editing choices and I don't like seeing the end of the movie at the beginning of the movie. Guys, can we just stop this already, please? If number 2 has it, please let us know so that we can just skip like 5 minutes in. That would be tops. Thank you. All in all, this was a great movie, and especially if you're watching it in October because it definitely has that like Halloween-y feel. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this 4 Brandy's Granny Panties out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't, there's a link in the description for you to find it. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything we're doing here on Bloodbath and Beyond. And have yourselves a happy Halloween.